right, we're bringing to the stage the North Bay. Um, Slowly here, I am going to capture one of many of the North Bay members until I have them all.
Woot woot.
Yes, I caught Steve first, but it just mean there we go. There's
Yeah,
Isabelle.
and Chaota is under keynote.
Steve. Oh,
I
can I
see.
change that? Did you
I think you can if you
Yada.
press your name. I'm
Anything
not
you
sure if you're on
want.
mobile or desktop here.
I can
wait,
even
wait,
change
Oh,
it
what
for
there
is
she
you.
that?
is. Yes.
Let's see. I
Wait,
saw
what is
Josh a
that?
second
I'm sorry for
ago.
cussing.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
think
I
we're
can
we're in
rename.
after hours now. Raise your
Okay, cool.
hand if your explicit material's not a thing for you, and we'll avoid it, but no promises. Attend at your own risk. Or
I think I got. Oh, there's Josh. I got him now.
and then
Just
Eric
about.
Reynolds will be our final panelist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see him.
I'm
There we
hanging
go.
out by the pool.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, dang.
Hey,
Up
All
look
right.
here.
at
We
Looks
gotta
like
you.
be.
I made a crew.
Right on.
All right, you're in charge.
Okay, thanks, Stefan. What an awesome event this has been so far today. I've really, really enjoyed myself checking in with the other panels and especially the future of the web because for those of you that don't know me, my name is Isabelle Garson. I am hosting this panel. I have the honor of kind of guiding this discussion today. And I am in the music industry in the capacity that I work on the marketing side. So I'm a little bit of a suit, but I don't really wear ties. I do a lot of digital marketing management, organic and paid media stuff. And I'm proud to say that I am the social media manager for the company Cookies. So one of the biggest bosses in the dang world, Burner, is my boss. And I am just freaking thrilled to have this conversation with you today. Our panel is called The Biz Nice. And so business, biz nice, what's nice about the music business. We're kind of going to get into that. We are from the North Bay area of San Francisco, very proudly from Sonoma County. Every one of us, actually. I'm up here in Santa Rosa. I'm going to let my panelists introduce themselves, but as many of you may know, during Balanced Breakfast meetings, we started off with an icebreaker. So since we had the like late night drinking Chardonnay kind of vibe tonight, I figured we'd start it off with this icebreaker. So panelists, I'm going to go around. I'll call you up here. Can you say your name, what you're doing in the music industry, anything else you want to add quickly, and then tell us when you're late night like networking, as we do in the music industry, are you the type that like nurses it all night, like you're just drinking a little bit here and there, or are you the type who's like party animal, I'm about to lead the keg stands? All right, so tell me, let's have that fun fact about you, who you are, what you do, and let's get it started with my co-facilitators. So I'm one of 3 facilitators for the North Bay. Starting the North Bay chapter with me was Josh Windmiller. So I feel like let's get started with Josh. Josh, who are you? What do you do? And do you nurse or are you sipping all night?
He's on mute.
Oh, am I on mute?
He
You're
speaks
muted, but
less.
yeah, there you go.
I got you.
Oh, I got
Classic
unmuted.
Zoom.
I know. I'm a director of a music festival in Santa Rosa, and I manage a band called the Sam Chase Non-Traditional, and I helped start a venue in town called the Lost Church Theater. So that's a lot of my sort of production and management work, you know. And I do booking for a few festivals and events and that sort of stuff around the area in the North Bay. And I've been doing it for over 10 years, and it's been really, really great. I have been able to persevere for so long because I don't go totally crazy during the networking. I think I tend to really take my try to pace myself through evenings and that sort of thing. I notice I just get bad at things when I drink. I mean, I have a great time, but I just my ability to do anything just goes way down. So I try and keep my wits about me as much as I can. But that being said, I love to have a social drink with folks and have a great time. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I'm looking forward to talking more though. This is gonna be great.
So you're telling me the Sam Chase's manager doesn't drink?
Someone has to not drink at that table. I think that's why they. I think that's why I work well with Sam. He can just
I hear that.
point. Go talk to that guy.
Right on.
All right.
Right
Cool.
on. All right.
Good.
Well, we'll get back into it with you, Josh. Thank you so much. Let's move on to Kayada. Kayada, let's introduce yourself here, and we'll have Steve close us out as my other co-facilitator.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hope all of you are well. My name is Kayada. I am a hip hop artist / I would say curator, just to create spaces for queer, melanin rich artists to have a space for them to showcase their talent. I'm also an educator. I'm just a truth seeker, a lover of really amazing food, art, music, and I'm a sipper. I'm not a big drinker. If I rage, anything like that, it's Hennessy. Like if we're celebrating, I'm a cognac type of person. If I'm just networking with some people, I'll probably have a little bit of champagne, some rosé preferably. And yeah, I think that's me in a nutshell. I mean, people would probably think that I rage, but I'm pretty laid back. I don't drink too much. I'd rather do something medicinal.
Yes, absolutely. Some cookies from the cookie jar, if we will.
Cookies.
Eric, what's going on with you, man? How you doing?
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Isabelle. I'm always loving the conversations over music and anything related to the industry. Wow. I was raised in Sebastopol, so that officially makes me a Sonoma County native. But now for the past 2 years, I've been full-time in the RV life, living and creating in a 40-foot toy hauler, which looks like this. Let's see if I can show you. It'll come on there. That's it right there. So
solar panels.
That's right. Plenty of them. We're going to record and we got to create in it. So, but we've got a professional recording studio. Let me show you that too as well real quick. Here it is. That's where I'm sitting in right now. Yeah, it's an amazing adventure. We've been doing this for 2 years and we're sitting outside of Las Vegas right now in the Valley of Fire. And it's been wonderful. So we're on the road full time. You could say we tour full time, I guess. So about me, 4 decades in the music industry, in the professional dance music industry. I've worn several hats. I started out as a touring DJ, toured the world 4 days a week. Trance music was my forte, performing artist too. And then I was an artist manager, booking agent, and web developer as well. And I've done a lot of really cool, fun things, event promoter. And now I've been dabbling, we invested into a virtual events platform. And so we're working on virtual events up to 100,000 patrons. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been an adventure, but looking forward to the conversation. Glad to be here.
I can't imagine someone more qualified to be here, but yeah, tell us about your drinking behavior.
Anything that fits into this Bernie mug, pretty much I'll take, but I love sake because it doesn't, there's no, I don't get the hangover, which is awesome when I do drink, but mainly it's lattes. We have an espresso bar over there. And so I'm constantly, I've probably 6 to 8 shots a day.
Very European of you. And to be real, coffee's an addiction, just like alcohol. Josh, looking at you. No, just kidding. Hey, Steve Wardmore, one of
Hey,
the lights of
Isabelle.
this freaking lifetime that I've ever known, dude. What is going on? Are you by a fire right now?
I am. Yeah. It's
Good.
nice and warm. It's cold outside, but if you have a fire, you don't have to worry.
I hear that. I have an outdoor heater because I'm very plugged in. Tell me, Steve, tell people who don't know you, who are you? What do you do in the music industry? And are you a rager, or do you like to sip it slowly when you're networking at music industry events?
Well, thanks, Isabelle. I am your pal, Steve Wardmore, farmer, lover, musician. I write and record and perform, make videos, and I play many instruments, but none of them well at all. You know, if I'm going to network, I need the perfect Hendrix martini, 2 olives up. Okay. And much like our other panelists tonight from the North Bay, I don't think I need to rage. You know, I probably got that out of my system at one point. And I like to live by E. Fode's philosophy, if everyone's familiar with E. Fode. He has a line in a song where he talks about operating on perved, right? It's kind of a strange slang term, but what he means by operating on perved is that, like, you're sipping, but you're never too fucked up to get shit done. So I can have a martini, sip on it, connect with other beautiful people like you. I would like to say I'm super excited for this panel tonight, but I would like to thank the previous panel that I was able to catch, because that was highly enlightening. So let's hear it for them.
Love it. All right. Well, I'll break the ice with mine. I wanted to hear everybody out and where they're coming from this, because I've played both sides here. I was voted biggest party animal in high school. I am part of the Heavy Hitters Club. I can drink like a tank. I'm Russian. You know, we celebrate our good mornings with Nostrovia. Yeah, it's good. But I've learned over time the value of not creating a reputation for myself in that way, and learning how to, like, be respectful around other people when you're in a business circumstance. I like the idea of operating on perv, like not blowing your load socially with people, is where I've gotten to with my, uses of alcohol, which I definitely enjoy. I grew up in wine country. I mean, but I remember one of the first times I started working with Josh, he was like, "I've heard about you." I was like, "Ooh, maybe I should reel it in a little bit." So just a little tip to the wise: it can be fun, but you can, have people say, "Ooh, I've heard about you," when they meet you. And that's not a great thing to happen when you respect them as much as I respect Mr. Josh Windmiller. So, all right, we're going to move into kind of a set of questions geared around, professional networking and our experiences with it. So, when I think about networking, I think it's like a double-edged sword. Like, when it's working really well for people, it can be freaking great. You're in it with your friends, you're making music, everything seems to happen really organically. It's awesome. But then when it's not working, you can feel really isolated, like no one really likes you. I mean, it's very triggering for our self-esteem issues when we're not professionally networking well. So I want to pose it to the group to talk about their experiences, both times when it's been working really, really well for you, or maybe times when it has not worked as well for you. And maybe if you would mind getting us started, Kayada, that'd be awesome.
I'm okay. This is a great question for sure. Just because I'm a little shy, and so I've had struggles with social media, promoting. But for me, my networking has always kind of like what Isabelle said, happened like organically. And so what I mean by that is, for me, like the main thing has always been, I'm gonna perform, right? That's always been like my jam. That's like my bread and butter. And for me, that's where I made most of my networking connections. It wasn't through like the internet or Instagram or Facebook. It was like face to face, word of mouth, you know, just showing up, doing the work, being on time, you know, being professional, that kind of, you know, it created a culture for myself, and it got me gigs, and I met people. I met you that way, just doing a show. Somebody said this and somebody said that, and then I met Josh through you. And this all came, the main thing has to be the main thing, right? And for me, the main thing was performing, and that brought everything else in. And it's difficult. I would say this last year has been the most difficult because my bread and butter was taken away, right? And so I was forced to go tech, if that makes sense. And that is where you could experience like depression or feeling, you know, is this worthy, you know, because you start looking at clicks and likes and, you know, I posted this didn't, you know, this didn't stick the way this stuck. And I think for me is not to get too high, not to get too low, and to be patient with yourself and stay the course, because it's feast or famine. You know what I mean? Um, and what I've noticed is that if we get too absorbed in social media, we can lose sight of the main thing. I don't know if I say.
I mean, hard for me to hear as somebody who spends like the majority of their day on social media, but I actually do respect that, because I was just saying this earlier today. Like, you cannot just have the media side of life. Like, there has to be the side of life where you go out and you lay in a field and you just like breathe, or you read a book, or, you know, there's so much more to life than anything that you're going to see on any screen that emits blue light and messes with your brain chemistry, period. Like, those are my feelings on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and if I can just
Yeah.
say real quick, you know, what Kayada says really resonates with me. She said like that she lost her bread and butter, and I feel that both, you know, that can be a financial thing, but it's also this idea of actually connecting with people face to face, even, you know, being able to consensually touch them, a hug or a handshake or a high five or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, I'm not good at the digital thing, and so, you know, when Kayada says you could like get depressed or, you know, go into the lightness, like I feel that too. But yeah, I just wanted to say that Kayada is right. That's from the artist perspective. And I see what you're saying, Isabelle. You are the one that bridges that gap, hopefully, for the artist, right?
Yes, and I always like to say that, you know, we're just amplifying what that physical experience is. I'm not trying to manufacture anything that doesn't actually exist. It's like, you know, you're plugging into the internet and it's amplifying what you are creating from your soul, hopefully, in my opinion. There are lots of different ways to come at music, but, you know, I tend to work with people who are very passionate about what they do, on a soul level, you know. So there's no room for compromise on certain things when people have that level of certainty around what they're doing. And I think that that's a really important part about understanding how to network with artists, because there's an inevitable ego that's on the table, and if you disrespect people, like, you're just done sometimes, you know. And that's okay, you know, you move on. It wasn't the right fit for you, it happens. But yeah, that's what I would say about maybe some of the more difficult times that I've had in networking, where it's like, oops.
I think that's a key. I think that's a key piece in networking. Is that respect thing. You know, be respectful, like be responsible. It doesn't mean to let people walk over you, right? You still should speak up for yourself if you feel like something is out of order. But I think there's a way to say it and do it. And I think that's a great tool to have when you're networking. How you speak to people, showing up on time, being consistent, right? Being you know, coming, making sure your product is consistent, making sure it's good. That's a part of the networking too. People are gonna come back and work with you again.
Yes, word of mouth is still, to this day, despite my intense knowledge of Facebook ads, the most powerful form of marketing, I promise you. Does anyone have any other amazing insights that they'd like to share on our panel here about, times when they've been networking? It's been really good or it's been really bad?
I think I can take a stab at it if nobody else
Yes,
wants
please,
to.
Eric. Yes. Yeah.
I find networking for me, professional networking, was easier back in the 90s than it is now. And the one big reason why is because back in the 90s, I like to say before FedEx, but really FedEx started back in the 70s, but it's sort of that way. We had less. Now we have more. And when you have more, there's more to keep you too busy to even respond to what's going on. There's so many facets of social media out there now, and just the internet alone. So before the internet, like you were just saying, Isabelle, word of mouth is still king. It will always be king. And it was king or queen back in the 90s, because in 1990, you always start with hello, and you still should today, but unfortunately people don't say hello anymore. They just start off with their spiel and they go right into it. You got to remember, hello is that salutation, that initial salutation. And it's not old school, but to a lot of younger generations, it is. It's like, who says hello anymore? It's like, yo, bro, or hey, what's up? Hello is extremely, it is the reason why there's that song, what, you had me at hello. I mean, it's hello. So back in the 90s, early 90s, I built a network. And that network, as an event promoter, I managed a 250,000 square foot space in Oakland. For those of you who are around in the 90s, it was called Home Base. It was the largest rave venue in actually west of the Mississippi. And my partner and I, we managed that for about 8 years. And we had over 2.5 million people come through and pay for tickets. And so I built that network. And by doing so, I started off really small with just hello. And then I found that opportunity, built it out there. That gave me my career as a DJ, a performing artist, a recording artist, touring with Moby, a lot of different artists out there, which was amazing, but it starts from hello, and you just have to persevere, but be as genuine as possible, and always have a good story, much like the icebreaker living here. I mean, it's a true story, obviously, but just something to get people to go, that's interesting. Let's turn that page. Let's see. And you can turn it slowly. You don't have to rush things, because now that with the globalization of the internet, people want to hurry everything. And so long as you lay back and you relax and take a deep breath and say, you know what, let me go out for a walk, let me do something, and then I'll come back and network a little bit more, and then your earns are really important, your priorities. Find out who it is that's working for you. And those that aren't working for you, those are what I call maybes. In my realm, in my life, yes or no. There are no maybes. Maybes are compromises. So if it's a yes, then yeah, let's go for it. If you're not interested in it, or you're saying, maybe, then I'm sorry, it's going to have to be a no, because in this space here, I don't have enough to hold everybody, all the maybes. And there are a lot of maybes out there. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, know your no. I really like that kind of concept of, I think that I got myself into trouble a lot early on in networking with my natural, desire to please people, committing to things that I didn't actually have the bandwidth to do because I was too afraid to say no to it. And I had a lot of strong maybes. And when you tell people a strong maybe, what they really hear is yes, when you're really saying no. And it's just, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not right. I want to move on to our next question, but I'm going to tie it in and say, panelists, what advice do you have? And I think some of you gave this already, but what advice would you have for people that maybe are having a hard time networking? It's not really their strong suit. not something that they've had success with, what would you say to someone if they came up to you maybe at an event and said, or you came up to them and you said, hey, how are you doing? They say, oh, I'm having a really hard time. I don't know how to network. What would you say to them, Josh Windmiller? And, if you want to tie in some of your last answer to this as well, feel free to do so.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks. I guess they'd be connected because I really am. I don't like networking at all. I really hate the feeling of social pressures. Like it, like, oh, you're supposed to talk. You're supposed to like each other now, or something like that, or whatever. Like what I have found, so I'm usually the one at a networking event that's like, I feel, this does not feel good, to me, or something like that. So one of the things that people like I've had to do is just staying busy, at things, like volunteering at things, maybe to get out there and to have something to talk about with people. I think I've met a lot of great people at like the festival and such through people who are volunteers or people who are working or something like that. I think that there's a lot of these projects that we like, need help to happen. And sometimes the best way to engage yourself into a network of some kind is to pitch in or something like that. That's at least one of the ways that I've found to get out there. Then you've done something nice for someone, and who knows, who they are, or who knows what's going to happen. That's something that I would tell someone, because I totally get it. It's like, if so much of what we do too, if you're talking about artists and stuff, so much of what we do is so personal and such. It's like, oh crap, now we need to be everyone's friend on top of everything else, or now I need to be doing this whole other side of managing and that sort of stuff. And to a certain extent, yeah, you do, but also there's I think a lot of important stuff happens while people are cleaning up after something or something like that too. Anyway, that's kind of my advice, I guess, is to find the place where you can comfortably be a part of it, even if you're going to have to use your words and you're going to have to get your stuff out there, but at the same time, being, I don't know, I guess that's all I got. Being present at in some kind of capacity is helpful. I've had a lot of people that have been like, oh, and what are you about? And I found out all about their band or something like that. I don't know. That's what I got.
That is, my number one advice if anyone ever wants to ask me how to meet you. And I think it's really funny that you say you're someone who doesn't like to network, but I feel like everyone and their mom knows who you are in Sonoma County.
But it's always,
so,
yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
Well, I feel like all of those are like on the way to something else in some way, like I've met a lot of really great musicians that I never would have met. I picked up the phone and called them because I needed someone for a gig or something like that. So I think people that I've met have been like on the way to, or coming from, or in between really cool projects, and I feel like if you're staying engaged with cool projects and helping however you can and whatever, I think you start to meet people, but it's always been project based for me, get show based or something like that, rather than like, oh, I'm going to go here and I'm really going to connect on a networking level or something like that. I've never really thought of that, but I think maybe we're taking like a broader kind of look at networking as including just and anytime you're building your network, right?
No, I think you hit it on a nail though.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you generally find a tribe. You want to find a group of people that speak to your soul. You want to find a group of people that's kind of doing the same thing that you're doing. Open mic, right? Maybe it's a poetry reading that's once a month. I used to, when I was first in Sonoma County, I didn't know anyone. I was stuck. I was lost. The first thing I did is I went to this open mic. They're playing, bluegrass and everything. I'm like, dude, I don't belong here. It wasn't my tribe. It's no knock on bluegrass. I just knew that was my tribe. I go up the street, to the left, to the right, I find this place called Sessions. Reggae, hip hop, whatever, this kind of thing that they did weekly. And honestly, all of this happened from that. I won't get into all the stories, but I wouldn't know Josh, I wouldn't know Steve, I wouldn't know Antiphony, I wouldn't know Isabella if I never went to that open mic that one night. So it's finding that community that speaks to you. Maybe it's a once a month thing, maybe it's a balanced breakfast group, right? On Facebook, where you meet with people and you exchange numbers. Oh, you do that too? Oh, you make beats? Oh, I rhyme. Oh, cool, let's collaborate. So, you know, sometimes it happens organically and sometimes you do have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if I can just jump in real quick, I mean, like that's absolutely the truth. I don't think scenes are built because like you want to make money, you know, and I think the previous panel kind of reflected this too. Scenes aren't built because you want to make money out of this thing. Scenes are built because first you have passion, of course, which I think everybody here has. And then as Kayada is saying, you find your tribe, you know, so Josh and Eric create these physical spaces for performance and music to take place, you know, then the artist has to come in. And like I'm listening to everybody on this panel talk about this right now, and it's something that I call being cool, right? And I'm not trying to sound like a jerk or a dick by saying being cool, because I don't mean like being part of a clique that's better than everybody else. I mean like it's kind of a cliche at this point, but I mean like being a good hang. You know, I think that's so important. My best opportunities have come just because I wasn't looking for anything from anybody. I might have been a genuine fan of a band, and I reached out to them, like Josh said. I just reached out and said, hey, I'm going to be in your city. Do you want to play a show? And a lot of times they say no, but like the 10% of times they say yes, it works out being my best connection. And I can always go back to that city and play again.
I love what Josh and Steve, you hit the nail on the head. I love what Josh said about presence. Very, very important to be present, because so many people aren't present at networking events. It just happens. And Kayada, you and I are on, this synergy is crazy, because I've got a book here that I was going to show you called Tribes. It's by Seth Godin, who is considered the marketing guru. He's just amazing. I'm holding this book up. It's a very short read. You can read it in one night. And the reason being is because I think a lot of people, when they're going out networking, fail to identify themselves either as a leader or a follower. And, you know, even as a musician or an artist, there are a lot of followers out there. There are people who aren't leaders, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But when you're
How do you know, Eric? How do you know if you're a leader or a follower? It's really hard for some people to tell, I think.
Stress is one big thing. Stress levels for sure. You know, a leader can pile a ton of stuff up on them, but be able to handle it, not, you know, possibly fairly well. However, if you're a follower and you're trying to do what a leader does, people are going to just read you. They're going to see you. They're going to read right through you, and they're going to say, this person is wonderful, but really what I'm looking for right now is another leader. And you could be looking for a follower too. I don't want to get too mixed up into this, but I see a lot of people who are trying to do big things, but don't have those leadership qualities that Seth talks about, within the tribe, because a tribe, a follower is just as important as a leader, but you need a guide. You need somebody to come up, much like you, Isabelle, you're a leader. I identify you as a leader because of what you do. You handle artists, many artists, and you need to look out after them. So you are a leader. A follower couldn't handle that. So I think that that's important with networking, because I see a lot of people at the NAMM show or the Winter Music Conference or even the Amsterdam dance event who are just like this. They come in and they go, I have a track I want you to hear. And they're shaking, and then they're like, no, maybe not. And they get mixed up and they talk too much. It's difficult to network that way. So if you are a follower and you have to network, look for support. Look for other people to work with. work as a team or a duo or as a collective. It's a lot easier that way than trying to take everything on yourself.
Can I make a point here? I really just want to say that I think that everybody needs to have a level of self-governance, that we all have the capacity for leadership, and it's important to not put yourself in, I think, into one or the other box. Like, as much as I also recognize that I've been trained to be a good leader, that I enjoy powerful positions, I enjoy nurturing people, as if they're my children, sometimes when I'm in a leadership role. Absolutely, I do enjoy that, but I also recognize there are moments where I need to be a student and I need to be directed. And so as someone who exhibits natural leadership tendencies, I'm going to say, even if you are a natural leader, you still need to be a student sometimes. And even if you are a natural, part of the, people that are following, you need to have a level of self-governance in order to feel fulfillment in your life. Like, if you don't know where you're going, what you're doing, how you're going to get there, you're bumbling. I mean, and there's some circumstances in life which necessitate that, of course, but for everyone who has the capacity to, you should think hard on your self-governance. What does that mean to you? But I don't want to get too far off topic. I think we can we can drive it back in here with our next question, which is kind of related to the stuff that we're talking about, I think, too, actually, a bit. So I'm going to pose this one. It is, what does it mean to you to be professionally accountable in your role and the various hats that you wear within the music industry? Leaving this one open to the group if anyone has a thought there that they'd like to contribute.
I'll jump in that pause there. I mean, I think you pretty much just said it, Isabelle. It is about that self-governance. And, I think in a perfect world, we'd all be able to do that easily. But I struggle with that all the time. We're talking about networking, and I've had great networking experiences. I've also had horrible networking experiences, sometimes totally because of me and sometimes because of the other person. So, my accountability, I guess, is first and foremost to expressing my art, my vision, right? But it can't be a totally ego-driven thing. It can't only be my vision. I have to understand that, like, I need other people to help me move to the place that I want to move to, right? So there needs to be room for their vision. And, I mean, not to sound too mystical or something, but like their emotions too, Mm-hmm. What do they identify as? How do they feel comfortable? Some of the worst networking experience I've had is because I made a joke that I thought was funny and no one else thought was funny, So I've started to think, like, what's my behavior? That's part of the accountability, or the and you talk about the different hats that we wear. I'll put this out to everybody else too. How many hats do we wear? Josh is a manager, a venue owner, a performer himself. I work a full day job on top of this. I know Kayada works a full day job. I mean, Eric wears many hats. Isabelle, you wear many hats. So it's a really difficult question. I'm sorry if what I'm saying doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I think it's kind of the crux of this whole thing, isn't it? How do we manage those hats?
Yeah,
Also,
I mean, I think that empathy and the reaction to other people is a huge part of that. But sorry, who was speaking up there? Is that Eric?
No, Lamont.
No?
Can you hear me?
Lamont.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Good
Hey.
evening. Good evening.
Good
I
to
think,
hear
on the idea of networking and managing, we're talking about communication, interpersonal communication. You take the buzzwords off of it. We're talking about communication, and we're talking about personalities. And many artists, we produce what we produce in a vacuum, in our bedroom, in our attic, in our garage, and it may be a multi-million-dollar studio, but it's still done in a controlled environment. And now all of a sudden you have to put a life to this music that was created in such a controlled environment. Yet you're still yourself. There's introverts that are afraid to just say hello to the average person, or it's not even afraid, it's not their instinct. So now you're going to go to a networking event with 1,000 people hustling, bustling, and all of a sudden you're supposed to just be this shark or this over expressive person to represent your music when it came from a very personal place and it was created in a very controlled environment. And now you're in this sea to survive and try to it's not possible. So what I've learned throughout the year, because when I go to networking events, I feel overwhelmed. I've gone to all the big dance DJ events throughout the United States, and I'm overwhelmed. I am an introvert. I'm an extrovert, but I'm an introvert too, and that overwhelms me. I feel small, and I start getting heady, and I can't break through. But I realized throughout my life experiences, I don't have to approach it that way. I can approach it in other ways. And I like to go around. As my mother used to say, when I would try to explain situations to her that she was trying to peg me for getting in trouble, she would say to me, "Why do you need to go around the mulberry bush? Just tell me what's going on." That's an old term from the South. And I go around the mulberry bush to find my way, because while everyone's there trying to get that one person to get their attention, I find another way. And I do that with my work today, because that's not me. And I may sit there and pump myself up and have internal dialogue to try to say bigger than I am and rehearse my speech. But when it comes time for execution, I fall short again. So what I do, what I've learned throughout the years, is I go around.
Wow.
There's many entrances to any building. There's many entrances to everything. There's multiple avenues to get to the city of San Francisco. It's not just one way. And I think you have to look at your personality and assert yourself to a level of degree. You know, I'm a firm believer to define who you are, but try to step beyond that to learn who you can be. And that's how I've been able to achieve the things that were important to me, because I'm not going to be the one at the networking party trying to crack a joke, trying to laugh, trying to have the person that I want to give me attention. I'm not going to seek their attention, because I'm not going in because they're surrounded by everybody else.
Yes. And
I may wait for that person in the bathroom. Seriously. I may wait to the end of the event. You may use the word stalking, but I'll sit and wait for that person to get their car, valet their car, or I see them walking down the street when nobody's around. Their hat of who I am is off. I'm not such and such anymore. I'm just walking to my car right now. So that's where I think it's important to understand who we are as individuals and not knock it, but find, like, how can I communicate with this world that works for me, allows me to be assertive and step outside myself, yet achieve my goals, and realize that there's multiple entrances to everything. And sometimes always going in the front door is not the way. Go on the back door, because it's not popular. No one wants to go enter through the alley, but he's like, hey, I got access. And I use that as a metaphor to just say, understand who you are, work with yourself, allow yourself to step beyond yourself, but find a method. And sometimes if you go the least popular way, you're the only one there, because everyone's going the established way. I'm going to get dressed up. I'm going to wear a certain outfit. I'm going to go to this room. I'm going to buy you a drink. No, oh, I see you in Starbucks. Hey. So that's how I've been able to achieve what I want, because throughout the years, I got tired of beating myself up for thinking that I didn't have what it took to communicate at a networking event. For years, I beat myself up, walking away with my tail between my legs, because, like, everyone else is having a good time and talking. Why can't I? That wasn't me. But
I think you hit it on the nail, though.
By going, again, around the bush.
I absolutely think you did too. I mean, you're saying, like, you're finding a way to network that's in your integrity, that feels right to you. And that's absolutely what we should do. And what I was thinking as you were saying that was like, you know, networking events, when we have that social anxiety, it's like our stage fright as performers.
Sure.
Like that moment before you get on stage and your stomach is just twisted in knots. There's a rare person that doesn't actually experience that. And as somebody who's like an extrovert and somebody who like people say to me all the time, you're so good with people, you know how to speak to people so well, you're not afraid of anything. It's like, that's not true. Inside of me, there's tons of fears and like recognitions of everything that's happening, people's feelings, feeling like, you know, I'm doing something wrong maybe. But the more that I've talked to other people that I've admired their bravado, their, you know, their ability to laugh and they feel the same thing. We all have stage fright. And the moment when we come to a networking event, it's our stage. It's our time to say, you know what? I'm going to say no to that fear and I'm going to go after what it is that I want. You know, so thank you for joining our panel, Lamont.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I just want to say real quick, Lamont said that he's an introvert and an extrovert. And are there any of us here that don't feel the same way? The performance allows me to be a total extrovert, right? But like how I can't be that all the time.
You know, I Lamont, you put, it's called an ambivert, right? Ambivert is in between. Is that the term? I can't.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah,
I
Melissa
believe so.
put it in the chat.
Ambivert, Melissa, yes.
You know, the analogy I want to bring to Lamont's point is often the quietest person in the bar becomes the most popular person, because while everybody else is talking and everything about whatever they're talking about, that quiet person is really looking for that one conversation that would interest that person. And usually it's another person just like that at the end of the bar that connects, and then they have a brilliant conversation.
Dude, and what does the freaking person with the social cachet get at the end of the day? The Don always sits with his back to the corner. The Don gets to talk to whoever the frick he wants to, right? Like, when you're at the opposite ends of the spectrum here, you have isolation on both sides. People who are super mega celebrities, they like can't talk to anybody because everybody feels like they already know them. People who are mega super feel like, you know, people don't like them, they won't talk to anybody because they think everybody doesn't like them. You know, it's like somewhere in between we all are ambiverts, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, and Isabelle, on your question about accountability, I think it's important because we are all mentors in some way or some form. We're creating something that somebody else loves, and it's really important to be realistic about it. Hold yourself accountable for whatever you're doing, because people are watching and people are inspired by you or motivated by you. So I think that that's another thing. And also for the industry too, as well. We all know in the professional music industry, there's so many companies and people who are doing things that are spiteful and hurt other people. So if you can remain genuine and real and hold yourself accountable and your collective accountable, or whoever you work with or for, then you're doing a good thing for the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really well said. I think that there's really, I mean, just thinking of doing positive things, you know, I that's kind of what I just took from that last thing that you said right there, Eric, is like, you know, everyone wants to, we're in this world or this business or something because we want to do something. There's something that touches us emotionally about this. And if you're in it and you don't have that, then I'm not interested in networking with that person or something like that. Like I think that where I'm coming from and where I hope people that I'm networking with or whatever are coming from is that they want to create more connections. They want to create inspiration and be a part of inspiration, you know, and have some kind of emotional resonance with with something beautiful, with creating beauty or something like that, you know? And so when I'm thinking of like, I don't know, why do you want someone's attention so much? If you're at a networking event or something like that, like you really want them to pay attention because maybe you're just going to feel better if they do, or is it because you're actually, will something more beautiful and awesome come out of it? Like keeping your mind on that kind of prize, because then maybe it's like, oh, that person's busy talking. It's just nothing magical is going to happen there. Where can I go to create some magic, you know, and that sort of thing. Maybe thinking of it more in terms of following the sparkly magical connection rather than thinking, how do I get into that circle or that box? Like sometimes the box is just full for a little while and you need to go talk to someone who is equally dejected as you are, and you're going to find that you both are just really awesome people or something like that. Like following keeping that in mind is, that's where I get to when I feel just totally flummoxed and so stupid and like, oh, well, what am I even doing here, or that sort of thing. Like I always get back into it when I feel, not when I feel like people are approving of me, or when I feel like, ooh, I'm really with someone that's going to help me out or something like that. But when I feel like I'm in a situation where something cool is going to happen, you know, or something like that. So I don't know, I guess trying to follow wherever you feel like you can make a positive impact and have some positive resonance, you know, sounds pretty good to me. I don't know.
Josh,
Yes.
you used the word feel 15 times. Feel, but this is perfect.
Yeah.
Feel the conversation. If you can't feel the conversation, you have no business being there.
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do? Just write down that you talked to so-and-so? It's like, if it's not there, it's just not there, you know?
What's a graceful way to bow out of a conversation that you're not enjoying?
Say you have allergies. I don't know, just no. How to bow out?
Social distancing. Social
distancing. Yeah, the bathroom. Yeah.
I don't know, just I don't know. That's a really good question.
Excuse me. Yeah, sometimes I'll just start talking to other people, but yeah, you know, yeah. What?
Someone just wrote fart.
Yeah. Just straight up fart. Just straight up fart on them.
Yeah.
Sometimes that really reminded me. Oh, sorry, Josh.
Well, sometimes you are going to be in. I think that's the double-sided part of this whole thing. Is sometimes you're going to be in conversations with people. If you're networking, you're just going to be in conversations with people, and you go like, "This is not interesting to me," or something like that. And just being a good human means you just listen and you find a way for it to kind of naturally roll. I think, right? But sometimes you're just gonna get into a quirky conversation with someone at some point.
Yeah. I feel like I sometimes experience cognitive dissonance
in a corner where you can't get out. Every now and then you're gonna get hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get out of the conversation. You're like, dude, I can't get out of this one.
You got it. You know what you have to do? You got to have a friend that can help you.
Wingman.
I usually roll dolo. That's the problem. I rarely roll with an entourage.
You need backup.
A wingman. I'm there for you. Okay, I'm there for you anytime. Let me know. I'm really good at hanging around randomly, but one of my tricks, I guess, when I'm trying to keep my spirits high as I'm at a networking event after many conversations that kind of had that like false start to them, and I'm like, oh, I wonder. I sing in my head the jingle from the Nestle Wonder Ball commercials. Ooh, I wonder, ooh, I do, ooh, what's in a Wonder Ball? And I think about the people as Wonder Balls, and like, I never know what's inside. Who knows what surprises a Wonder Ball can hide? Lovely Nestle chocolate with candy shapes inside. Ooh, I wonder, ooh, I do, ooh, what's in a Wonder Ball? So I think of people as Wonder Balls. I don't know what's inside of them. Like, I'm going to go find out. And that reminds me of what Steve was saying earlier in terms of not really having expectations around having connections at events like this. What you're doing is you're on a research mission. You're learning about what potential connections you could have that could help you at this event. You went to this event because you had a motivation in which you thought there will be like-minded people at this event that I can connect with. Thus, it's a networking event, right? So I think that, knowing what you want out of engaging with another person and maybe if you can convince yourself somehow for that thing to be literally just knowing something about them, that's the secret. That's the sauce, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
You've
my
always,
trick. If you sing the Wonderball jingle.
that's really interesting. I'm going to think about that next time I'm at some event or something with you, Isabelle, because you've always been someone that seems genuinely interested and excited about what makes other people excited, and that's something that I think is really, really valuable in what a networking situation or whatever. And knowing that is going through your head helps me understand that a little bit more.
Because everyone's freaking amazing and incredible. Like, we can literally connect with people on a human level if we just like let go of maybe some of the other things that we want or that we think that we aren't, you know, in terms of what we can give to them, you know, and don't try to show up for other people in terms of like just genuinely telling them something that's authentic about you. Telling them some bullshit about you does nothing for either of you.
Yeah.
You know?
But Josh has an unfair advantage. He's got the Ryan Gosling eyes.
Oh, and that hair. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at what you're doing to your blue-eyed boy. Oh man. All right. Well, we didn't get
games.
to our.
If I can just add one thing, I've played games at networking events.
Yeah, games are good.
And games is where I'll specifically go in a corner by myself. And it's a sacrifice and it's amazing because people are curious, like, why is this person over here by themselves? And I've had people many times say, why are you here by yourself? I said, I'm not by myself. I'm in the room with everyone else. I'm just choosing to be over here. And they're like, well, I'm gonna hang out with you because you seem to be odd and I want to be odd with you. And all of a sudden and then another group will come over. Why are you two over here by yourselves? Everyone else is over there. And all of a sudden you can create your own networking within the networking. Again, finding what works best for you. And
Lamont, everybody loves to play Twister.
You know?
Yeah. Or like, I was even thinking about it
by just, you know, on the parameter of the networking event, because they're overwhelmed too. And I've met some really powerful people who are introverts and are afraid to jump in there and say that I'm here to represent. I've met individuals that issue grants and they represent these banks and they're there to give their money, but they're afraid to talk. But I met them by just hanging out, being a wallflower. And they're like, oh, I feel safe with you because you're not over there with all those people. So the opportunity is everywhere. And again, that's what I've learned throughout the years, because I wanted to walk away with more than just saying this didn't work for me. I wanted to at least connect with someone. And so I had to play games to try to, and I don't mean manipulative. I mean games as in, let me try this. Let me see if this would work, because I can't just walk away feeling sore about myself because it didn't work for me.
You know what I've started calling it instead of games, Lamont, when it comes to those sorts of things, is science.
Science.
It's science. I have a hypothesis. I'm going to try it out.
Sure.
We'll see. You know, I'm not doing it to play games with anyone, to hurt anyone. No, I'm doing some science.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, we didn't have time to get all of the questions, but I did write this question out. I thought it was going to be a real meaty one that was part of our conversation, but I just want to read it to everyone here. And I want for everyone here to think about this question for themselves as a rhetorical question, please. Balanced Breakfast challenges the notion that there is a cool club that makes up the entertainment industry that is steeped in very real good old boys institutions. What observations do you have about this? And what actions are you taking to address power inequities in the music industry? Everybody on this call, I just want you to think about that. What are you doing with your role in your place in the music industry now to address the power inequities that come from the good old boys institutions that make up the history of the music industry? How will you take that home? Please take that home with you.
Snap.
Please think about it. And then I
Mike's
guess
been
that was our
basically
last 2 minutes.
dropped.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for networking with us. Please reach out to me on any of the socials, any of the panelists. We have our socials up in here. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Isabelle. Thank you for moderating that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Isabelle, you're a boss. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Can
Everyone
we
came
all
through for me on this panel.
can we all cheer for the evening? Like just like dang, what an evening. And
Thank you, everyone.
don't leave.